morning and welcome back to Coffee with a Kick. I'm Xander. That's over there, Keegan. And wait, no, that's Keegan over there. And it was a week of EPL action that we had, a weekend of EPL action that we had. Not the greatest set of results for various reasons across the weekend. Some of them sad, some of them boring, some of them bad. And we're here. We're gonna tell you which ones were which. All right. So before we hop into it, why don't you go ahead and drop that like, drop that subscribe. Thank you very much. You're doing the world a favor by doing so.
The world a favor.
The whole flipping world, dude. Doing the whole
I say for the
world.
amount of milligrams of caffeine in the coffee that you're drinking right now, that's how many likes you have to give us. Just go all the way back through the episode.
Wow. That's a lot, because I'm pretty sure there are hundreds of milligrams of caffeine in each cup of coffee.
160. That's the average.
People are drinking light coffee then. But with that out of the way, why don't we go ahead and just take a hop, skip, and jump right into good old Nottingham Forest and Tottenham.
Yep.
We both got this one right because Tottenham looked like they were the far superior side in this one, taking care of Tottenham handily 2-0. Spurs have figured out how to work without Maddison out there right now. Richarlison's doing very well out of all of a sudden. Kulishevsky's really come into his own. I was not impressed with him early in the season, but I mean he was the main driving force in this match today. This match back on Friday, and really set up Richarlison very well for that first goal. Nottingham Forest did almost come back, though. 58th minute, they had a shot at it, but literally the entire front line of Nottingham Forest had jumped off sides. And they didn't need to either, because it was such a good ball. If they had not been offsides, they still would have been able to score pretty easily.
Yeah, I feel like Tottenham's still lacking some creativity without Maddison in there, but I think they played pretty well, especially going a man down 70th minute. It seemed like they didn't lose control of the match. Obviously, 10 men, not ideal, but it seemed like they did pretty well after that and just kind of hold on to that 2-0 victory.
Yeah, it was definitely a very well-earned Bissouma red card there. That was a nasty high challenge. That's his second one of the season. 4-game ban for Bissouma here. So we will... Just as you're going into already so depleted, everybody's already so depleted, but they'll I'm sure they'll keep pressing on. Who do they have up next? Tottenham Hotspur. They've got Everton. That's interesting. They have Everton up next.
If Nottingham's not careful, they may slip into relegation zone if Luton or Burnley can start picking up some points.
Yeah, certainly so. And just as a couple weeks ago, I was saying that Nottingham is doing so well, like they seem pretty secure. We didn't think that anybody would fall back down to the relegation boys, but Nottingham's giving them a run for their money. Which, hey, listen, for my preseason predictions, I'm all about. I did pick Nottingham Forest to get relegated. I was picking Wolves to get relegated, but Wolves, hey, chill out, okay, guys? Take a chill pill, okay? The next match was the sad match, Bournemouth and Lutontown. This match was abandoned midway through the second half, just before midway through the second half, as as Lutontown's captain, Tom Lockyer, collapsed on the pitch. Cardiac arrest is what it's being reported as now. He was resuscitated on the field and was responsive as he was being taken off, but he is currently under observation at hospital, as the British would say, at hospital. It was a pretty decent 1-1 match going into it, though. So we'll see how they end up handling this. Do you think they'll just replay, or will they pick it back up at the 60?
In the past, they pick it back up where it's left off. So there's probably going to be a midweek where they play the final 30 some minutes, and then 30
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was not a bad match because, I mean, Bournemouth was just getting back into it with a 57th minute goal. But we'll have to pick this up when the EPL does. Until then, we'll go ahead and mosey on down to Chelsea and Sheffield United. So Bournemouth, Luton Town, we didn't get it right or wrong because the match was suspended. Chelsea, I did get wrong. I thought they would draw Sheffield United, but they took care of it. They took care of the match there, winning 2-0 over Sheffield United. And it took them long enough to get into the action. It took Man City to get Chelsea into the action. In this one, in the 54th minute, Raheem Sterling assisting the youngster Cole Palmer. It's good movement on their part. I mean, Sheffield United, it was one of those relegation side moves where they just forget to mark a guy coming into the box late.
Yeah, he was pretty free.
Yeah,
pretty free.
Yeah, but up until then, Chelsea had the mainstay of possession, but it wasn't overwhelming by Sheffield United. Like it was a pretty respectable result up until that point on Sheffield's side. But yeah, that concentration for a whole match is hard to maintain. And Sheffield United has shown again that they will lose it at the most inopportune times. And Raheem Sterling finds Cole Palmer, puts it in, and at that point, just a few minutes later, Cole Palmer returns the favor for Nicholas Jackson. 61st minute gets a really really ramshackle goal. Really, I said a scrum in front of the net, essentially. Like that ball was bouncing, ping-ponging all over the place. Probably would have been a PK if Cole Palmer had not put it across to Jackson. They were going down 2-0 either way.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it nail on the head, like an ADHD kid in SAT, just not going to really do well. Can't sit still for long. Gonna have to, something's going to happen. So,
and it could have been worse. 84th minute, Brosia wandoed just a platter of a cross, again by Cole Palmer. Could have had another assist there, but he was... It was a straight wando inside the 6-yard box over the top from the middle of the goal. Really impressive by him.
Yep.
But yeah, you got that one right. I got that one wrong. Moving to one we both got wrong. Manchester City draws Crystal Palace, which apparently they're Crystal Palace's favorite thing to do at the Etihad. They like to give Manchester City a tough time. And this one, I mean, City controlled the match for the first 3 quarters. Controlled the match. Like it was all of them, and then just randomly 76th minute, Crystal Palace gets that breakaway, and I thought Ake could have done better with his slide. I think he could have cleared that out, but it goes through to Crystal Palace's Mateta, Jean-Philippe Mateta, and he puts it in. Yeah, it's what were your impressions of this one?
I said that if Crystal Palace scores, it'll be off of a fluke counterattack. And so whenever they got the first one, I felt a little nervous. But I mean, we had a chance, and I think the 84th, 85th, I think we got a shot on target, did not convert it.
No.
And then you had the penalty. It was like we should have cleared it 2 or 3 times, and Foden just delayed in his brain.
Yeah, really weird. I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention, but just doesn't see the Crystal Palace guy crashing hard.
Mateta again.
Yeah, Mateta again. And I mean, it was a pin, no doubt about it. It was just Philly boy didn't see him coming. And kind of similar to Sheffield United, just wasn't paying attention for that 1 second that it was most important. And so City drops another 2. They are still in 4th, but they're losing ground on Arsenal. I mean, we're still pretty early in the season, but they're starting to be that classic mind the gap sort of situation as developing here between the top three, and then another cluster there for City and Tottenham being both in that next tier, 34, 33 respectively.
I'll be happy for Kevin De Bruyne to.
Yeah. Do they have a projection date for him to come back yet?
I've been under the impression January is a green light. As long as everything's good, I think he might be back early January. Maybe after that little
after that international break there.
10, little break.
Well, definitely we'll put some stability back in the side. You can start trying to get people back into their natural positions more.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. I mean, you're still missing Holland, but, nothing you can do there. All right. Then we go to one that went exactly how we thought it would. Absolutely how we thought it would, because we both got it wrong. Newcastle United. 3-0 doesn't tell the story of this match because Fulham looked pretty good the first 20 minutes. Then, 22nd minute, Raul Jimenez, I don't know what he was doing exactly, but what would you call the move that he did there? Some sort of flying jump kick, sort of? Yeah,
it definitely didn't, we talk about the natural, is this a natural slide or movement or not? And I would say it was about as unnatural as it gets.
When your cleats hit his abs, it's not a great look for you.
It was reminiscent of when Sadio Mane cleated Ederson pretty much clean in the head. It was pretty, obviously didn't hit him in the head, but it was just like, I don't know if he's necessarily like meaning to cause harm, but for sure did. Tough one, because after that, Fulham tried their best for the rest of the first half, and in the second half, it just seemed like they were outmatched because of one man down.
Yeah, it just eventually got away from them. They did a pretty good job for the first half. Joelinton going down for Newcastle. That's going to be a big loss if he's out for any extended period of time. Newcastle doesn't need any more injuries. Come on, it's really unfortunate for them. But then they got Lewis Miley. How young is this boy? They're saying that he's the youngest player to score since I believe it was 2004. A local Newcastle lad. Let's see.
Yeah, I didn't.
17, born in 2006. Just about to turn 18 in January. That's a youngin'. And he looks it, too. He does look it. A local boy. And then Dan Burn, apparently also another local lad there for Newcastle. Not as young. He's 31. But he's a local favorite. Good old Dan Burn. Good header on that one. He had a very good header on that corner, on that ball. And I think that was right. Yeah. No, well, sort of. He headed it, it got saved, and then he thigh/chested it into the goal. And then Almiron scored off of an Anthony Gordon nice setup. Newcastle took care of business. They'll be happy for the 3 points for sure. After losing their past 2 matches, 7 goals to 1, it's nice to get a nice easy one back here. Fulham, you can kind of, for Fulham, as far as the loss is concerned, this one you can kind of chalk away. It's like, listen, we got a 22nd minute red card. Let's put this one in the back. Let's put this one behind us. Roll on to the next one. See if we can keep that momentum. See if we can kind of put this one out of our mind because it's a little bit fluky.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Strange one because both teams were trending in the opposite direction that this game went.
Yeah, for sure.
A weird one, but good on Newcastle.
You take advantage when you can. 2-1 that we both got exactly correct. 2-0 victory for Everton. And it was... Everton scored in the 19th and the 25th minute, and that's really all that happened in the match. It was Everton before that, and then I don't know if there were more than 3 shots on goal after that 25th minute goal by Michael Keane.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, it was kind of, I wouldn't say boring, but yeah, it was not the best second half match I've ever watched.
No.
Obviously, it was, again, Burnley just kind of possessing the ball just so they can say they had the ball more often than the other team. And Everton was okay with it. Second half, they kind of came out with like, we're up 2-0. We can play defense. We know that we got them right where we want them. So
yeah, when your man of the match is Jordan Pickford for Everton, it's probably not an offensive showcase for Everton going on.
It was strange because Burnley only had 2 shots on target. So it's not like he did a lot.
No, he had like a couple non-hand save sort of things. Like he came out and defended decent. But listen, Everton 4 wins in a row here since they lost to Manchester United. They do have Tottenham up next and then City. So that's not great for them. But you know, they have really turned things around and they could still get some points back, mind you. They may be able to get that 10-pointer reduced and next thing you know, be up in, above my Wolves for sure. If they get the full 10, I mean, they would be in 9th with BHA. Well, they'd be in 10th, just below them on goal difference. By 1 goal. So not a very significant amount there. Speaking of BHA, they were just shut out for the first time all season by Arsenal. And to be honest, this one was an Arsenal smotherfest. It was not particularly close, I felt like. Even though Brighton kept them out the first half, it's not like there were a lot of chances going their way.
Yeah, Brighton just didn't look comfortable all game. I mean, this was probably the first game they've only had 1 shot on target. So not a ton of offense being created. Seemed like the ball was just pinging back and forth between each team. Near the end, Brighton had the ball a little bit more, but Arsenal never looked like... I never felt like Arsenal was going to lose this one.
No.
I really didn't.
No. My note in the 53rd minute was, I don't know how Brighton's got away with it for this long, that they hadn't given up a goal yet. And then they just leave Gabriel Jesus unmarked on a corner kick in the backside, and it puts it right in. They did have a decent chance in the 83rd minute, but Gross misplayed his header terribly, putting it wide. If he puts that in, there's a shot that they get the 1, maybe they get the full 3. It could change the match. But Arsenal in the 87th just unlocked their back line and put the match away handily. But probably one of the worst matches that I've seen Brighton play all season. Probably since that 3-1 loss to West Ham United at the Amex earlier in the season. Well, no, they were at West Ham, I believe, for that one. I can't remember. But that 3-1 loss to West Ham United was as bad as this one was, I thought. And I got that one right, and you got that one wrong. You thought BHA would win 3-1. Then to another one that we both got correct, Brentford and Aston Villa, a 2-1 victory for Aston Villa. Much more competitive than we thought this one would be, than we thought it would be otherwise. Brentford looked decent for the most part. But again, the specter of the red card comes back to play here. 71st minute for Brentford after getting a goal just before the halftime whistle. They play a decent half. 71st minute, get a red card, and then Aston Villa comes back, and after it took a while for that one to get called, if I recall correctly. And then after a VAR review, Aston Villa scored 77 and 85th, almost back to back, to put themselves to keep the train rolling. I mean, it was a more gutsy match than they've had in the last ones. Much more. I mean, they're playing from behind, so it was a different feel than their other matches they've had recently.
Yeah, it was similar to Fulham. The entire game kind of changed once the red card happened.
Yeah.
Aston Villa was already pressing, already looking dangerous, but that red card, 71st minute, it just kind of opened everything up. Aston Villa, I felt, dominated the game all the way till the end, and then the 90+7 red. Another tale of just there's no point. There's no reason for it.
This one got super chippy. It kind of started when Ollie Watkins, who used to play for Brentford, got the winning goal, and he mugged for the crowd inside of Brentford's goal. They took exception to that, understandable. But it got really heated there. And the 90+7 won for one of the defenders, doing a classic like throat to neck shove that soccer players like to do. Like, you're not going to get away with that anymore. But the VAR will catch anything you do on the field and put you out of the game. And it happened here. Yeah,
that's just not smart. No. There's no point. And now he's been like a stalwart in their midfield. Now he's going to have to be out at least one match.
Yeah, Kamara.
Maybe even a couple of more. So not really smart. That could slow some momentum down for them. But yeah, I mean, other than that, Aston Villa, gutsy win.
Yeah. Well, lucky for Aston Villa, their next one is Sheffield United. So you can feel pretty comfortable about that one. Yeah. You can feel pretty comfortable about that one. All right. And then, man, I do really hate picking West Ham United matches. I've said it once. I'll say it again. My Wolves fall 3-0 to West Ham United. And, I mean, it was classic West Ham. Just Kudus breakaways for those first two. Almost identical in setup. In that Paqueta released him on a fantastic ball forward. Just one of them. This one I really felt like that our backup goalkeeper did certainly look like a backup goalkeeper. Because for the first one, I think he should have had a palm on that one from Kudus. Because getting beat near post on that is not super acceptable as a goalkeeper. The second one, a little bit more reasonable. It was a close one. But missing the punch on the 74th minute Jared Bowen header, I think that's on the keeper as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really feel like Wolves got into this one. Second half felt like they had a bit more possession, kind of looked more fluid maybe, but yeah, well, I mean, once West Ham, the 10-minute span where they got up 2-0, they were okay with just kind of, let's hang back. Let's just let the match come to us now. We're up 2-0. West Ham and Everton are very similar in that way. Like, they'll just let it come to them.
Yeah.
If they get up, they're like, all right, we can now just do what we want to do and play some defense.
Yeah, and really, when Wolves almost got one back in the 58th minute, but Sarabia was just a toe offside. Just a toe offside. Yeah. And that could have changed it, because that was 58th minute, so there's still plenty of time left in it to maybe get back into it. Respectably, I mean, the Wolves were still pressing there through the end of the match, but it never felt like anything was going to happen. And I misremembering slightly. The Jared Bowen one was that angle. I don't know how you get beat far post on the Jared Bowen goal there. Also assisted by Lucas Paqueta. So he got a hat trick of, what do you call a hat trick of assists? Is there a name for that?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know. If you know, drop a comment. Let us know. What's a hat trick of assists called? Do you just call it a hat trick of assists? That feels a little verbose, in my opinion. And then here's one that we have to talk about because it was on the schedule. A 0-0 draw, which of course we both missed, for Liverpool and Manchester United. And I don't know how you pick a man of the match for this one. I mean, Liverpool did dominate the match. So really, United, you feel like you got away with one. But none of they said they had 8 shots on goal, Liverpool did. But none of them were that spectacular. Like 1 or 2 really good saves by Anana, but nothing outrageous, I didn't feel like.
Yeah, this one, I mean, how Liverpool doesn't score in this match is beyond me. I mean, whether it was a defensive masterclass or just luck, they almost had 40 shots, albeit 8 of them on target, but just a ton of shots, a ton of possession. It kind of felt like it felt like the expression of we're just holding on to the seat of our pants,
Mm-hmm.
hoping that the worst case doesn't happen, because it could have been 5-0. It really could.
It could have been.
So
If they just make
a 0-0 drew is just one more week for Ten Hag to stay in charge.
Yeah, a 20% improvement on the shots that Liverpool is taking, and yeah, it's like 3 or 4-0. But they were just catching them poorly. A lot of just blasted shots over the crossbar. And Nana did have, well, of course he had 8 saves because there were 8 shots on goal. If it's a shot on goal, then it has to be saved. Otherwise, it's just a goal. But Liverpool, they came back down a little bit more. Now Aston Villa and Liverpool are even on points, 38 apiece. Arsenal, 39 at the top of the table. It's congested up there for the top 3. And we've got Liverpool Arsenal coming up this week, this upcoming weekend on Saturday. So big match there. Big match there for sure. And we'll see when they pick up the abandoned match from Bournemouth and Luton Town. Yeah, but that is the week that was match day 17. We will be back with you on Thursday. Yeah, we're going to do a prediction episode for Christmas weekend through next Thursday. So it'll be for match day 18 and 19 that we'll do, and then we'll come back for an episode just before the end of the year and do predictions for that. And then one recap episode before we hit the January international break. So keep that in mind. I'm sure you'll commit that to memory. I'm glad to hear that you will be. Anyway, that's all I've got. So until we see you again on Thursday, find some soccer somewhere, grab your coffee, and then sit down and watch the soccer. And we'll see you. I'm going to do that one more time because I was not satisfied with that. Why don't you go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer, and we will see you on Thursday. Strike it.